Why do the kindest hearts bleed the most? I've seen it, good folks, pure as morning dew, crushed under life's weight while others skate by. It's the question that gnaws at your soul. Why does suffering hunt down the ones who give everything? I'm speaking to you as someone who's walked this earth for decades, a humble advocate of the Buddhist teachings, sitting cross-legged in life's storms and sunshine. I've watched pain carve deep lines into faces that only ever smiled for others. Maybe you're feeling it right now, helping everyone, loving fiercely, yet drowning in hardship. Let me ask you this. Do you think you're the only one? Hold that thought, 'cause we're gonna dig into something ancient and raw that'll flip how you see your struggles. Look, I get it. Suffering feels personal, like a targeted arrow. I remember a dear friend, Clara, from my old neighborhood in the States. She was the kind of woman who'd bake extra pies just to feed the homeless on Thanksgiving. But then cancer hit her like a freight train. She'd sit on her porch, voice trembling, asking me, "Why me?" I never hurt a soul. I held her hand, feeling that same ache in my chest. Don't we all at some point stare at the sky and scream inside, "Am I the only one breaking under this?" Here's the kicker, you're not. Suffering ain't your private curse. It's the thread stitching every human life together. Let's unpack this with a truth the Buddha dropped over 2,500 years ago, a truth that's still a lifeline for folks across Europe and America seeking peace. Let me take you back to the night the Buddha sat under that Bodhi tree, wrestling with the mess of existence. He wasn't born with answers, he earned them through grit. That night he saw it clear. Life is suffering. Not just for the bad guys, not just for the good ones, for everyone. This is the first noble truth in Buddhism, and it ain't poetic fluff. It's a cold hard fact. Whether you're a saint or a sinner, pain comes knocking. Think about it. Birth hurts, aging stings, sickness cripples, death looms. Even the joys we chase, they slip through our fingers, leaving us aching for more. I've seen this play out in every corner of life. Take my own story. I spent years building a small business in my 40s, pouring my heart into it, only to lose it all in a recession. I wasn't evil. I paid my taxes, treated folks right. Yet there I was, staring at an empty bank account, feeling like the universe had it out for me. Sound familiar? But here's where the Buddha's wisdom cuts deep. He didn't just point out suffering. He explained why it's not about you. It's not personal. Suffering, or dukkha, isn't a punishment. It's baked into the human condition. Let's break this down with some meat on the bone. In Buddhist texts like the Dhammapada, suffering comes from attachment, clinging to things, people, even ideas of how life should be. Clara, my friend, wasn't just grieving her body breaking down. She was grieving the life she thought she deserved. I felt it too, losing my business tied to the dream of stability. We suffer, 'cause we grip tight to what's fleeting. And the data backs this up. Studies from the American Psychological Association show chronic stress often stems from unmet expectations, not just raw events. In 2021, over 60% of surveyed Americans reported feeling overwhelmed by a loss of control over life's outcomes. That's dukkha in modern terms. Now let's paint a picture. Imagine a young man in London, let's call him James, a devout Buddhist I met at a retreat. He's a nurse, works 12-hour shifts, always smiling, always giving. But his mom passed last year, and his marriage is crumbling under the weight of grief. He told me, tears in his eyes, "I meditate, I pray, I help. Why am I still falling apart?" I sat with him, sipping tea in a quiet garden, and shared what the Buddha taught. Suffering ain't a sign you've failed. It's the soil we all grow in. James nodded slowly, but I could tell he needed more than words. So I pointed him to the Sangha, his community. See, in Buddhism we don't face pain solo. Across Europe, from mindfulness groups in Paris to Zen centers in Berlin, folks gather to share their burdens. A 2019 study from the University of Oxford found that communal meditation reduces feelings of isolation by 40%. That's real. Suffering binds us, but so does facing it together. I told James, your pain isn't yours alone. Lean on us and you'll stand taller. Have you got a circle to lean on, or are you carrying it all in silence? Let's push this further with a curveball that might jolt you. What if suffering isn't just universal? What if it's necessary? I know that sounds like a punch to the gut, but stick with me. There's a story from the Buddhist time, one that hit me hard when I first heard it in a dusty temple library. A mother, Kisagotami, lost her only child. She went mad with grief, carrying the lifeless body, begging for a cure. She found the Buddha and he didn't offer magic. He said, "Bring me a mustard seed from a house untouched by death." She knocked on every door in her village, desperate, only to hear the same refrain, "We've lost two." Grandparents, siblings, children. Death had scarred every home. By the time she returned empty-handed, her eyes weren't just wet with tears, they were open. She saw her pain wasn't hers alone. It was everyone's. The Buddha didn't erase her loss. He showed her the mirror of shared humanity. She buried her child, and legend says she found peace, even gratitude for being cured of her delusion that suffering was personal. Now think on this, how often do we, like Kisagotami, think our pain is unique? How many doors have you knocked on, only to find others bleeding just like you? Let's dive into the heart of this, the raw climax of what the Buddhist teaching offers. Accepting suffering as universal isn't just a nice idea. It's a damn revolution in how you live. When Kisagotami saw that every family wept, she didn't just grieve less, she transformed. She joined the Sangha, became a nun, and channeled her pain into compassion. That's the power of the first noble truth. It's not about wallowing, it's about waking up. Let me lay this out with precision. Suffering exists in three forms per the Buddha. Obvious pain, like loss or illness, the pain of change, good things fading, and the subtle pain of conditioned existence, never quite feeling whole. Each one hits us, no exceptions. I felt all three. In my 60s, I faced arthritis, obvious pain. I watched my kids move across the ocean, pain of change. And even on good days, there's this quiet itch, a sense I'm missing something, conditioned pain. Recognizing this didn't make the hurt vanish, but it stole its sting. Why? 'Cause I stopped fighting it. I stopped asking, why me? And started asking, how do I live with this? Let's ground this in more lived truth. I knew a man, Paul, from a meditation group in New York. Vietnam vet, heart of gold, but haunted by PTSD. He'd wake up screaming, reliving battles. He came to our sessions, skeptical, saying, how's sitting still gonna fix this hell? I shared the Buddhist take, don't run from suffering, see it. Name it. Paul started small, just noting his panic without judgment. Over months he told me, I ain't cured, but I ain't a prisoner no more. He described flashbacks not as enemies but as waves, they crash, then pass. A 2022 study in the Journal of Traumatic Stress found mindfulness-based interventions cut PTSD symptoms by 30% in veterans. That's not hocus pocus, it's science meeting ancient wisdom. Paul's story shows acceptance isn't surrender, it's power. It's the difference between drowning in a storm and learning to swim through it. And here's the logic. If suffering is universal, fighting it is like fighting gravity. Pointless. But if you accept it, you redirect your energy. You build resilience. You help others, 'cause you know their pain too. Look at European Buddhist communities. Retreats in Scotland report 80% of attendees say shared suffering discussions cut their loneliness in half. That's the Sangha effect. So I ask you, are you wrestling your pain or learning to ride its waves? Now, let's lighten this heavy load with a twist that might make you chuckle even through tears. What if suffering's a sneaky blessing? I know, sounds nuts, but hear me out. Picture this: you want to learn to swim. You read books, watch videos, but until you're choking on water, flailing in the deep end, you ain't learning squat. Life's like that pool. Suffering's the deep end. It's brutal, yeah, but it's where you grow fins. I think back to losing my business. I cursed the heavens, felt like a failure. But that rock bottom? It taught me grit. I rebuilt, started mentoring younger entrepreneurs, even wrote a small book on resilience that's touched folks from Dublin to Denver. Without that collapse, I'd still be coasting, soft as pudding. The Buddha didn't say wish for a pain-free life. He implied wish for the strength to face it. I've seen this in others too. A woman at a retreat in Germany shared how losing her job forced her to chase her dream of painting. Now her art's in galleries. Suffering broke her open, but it also broke her free. A laugh escaped me when she said, "I guess getting fired was my muse." Humor aside, the point lands hard. Pain carves out space for growth. Think of your own scars. Didn't they shape you into someone tougher, wiser? I bet they did. So next time life dunks you, don't just scream. Look for the lesson. You're not just surviving. You're sculpting a stronger you. Imagine telling your younger self, "Hey kid, this hurt's gonna be your superpower." Feels wild, right? But it's true. Suffering's the fire that forges us if we let it. So here we are at the end of this winding road. Suffering ain't personal, it's the human deal. Good or bad, saint or scoundrel, we all get our share. The Buddhist truth from ancient India to modern-day Europe and America stands firm. Accept it, don't fight it. That's not weakness, it's the key to peace. Build that mindset, lean on your community, and face life's storms with steady eyes. If this hit home, if you want to keep hearing stories and wisdom like this, hit that like, subscribe, and join me on this path. Your support keeps me sharing. And hey, I'm curious, what's one hardship that shaped you into who you are today? Drop it in the comments. Let's learn from each other's fires.